This is going to be my second part of my three-part video review of the Copper River 15-inch Lincoln briefcase. This one is in the distressed leather color, which if you've watched my previous video or my unboxing video, it's a color that I am currently absolutely obsessed with, and I would not be surprised if I end up purchasing many more products in this specific color of the leather. The first part of the video, if you've not seen, I walk through the outside of the bag, talking about the advantages and disadvantages, specific to how I use this bag, which is as a carry-on bag. So I use this as my personal item bag. I bought it specifically for that. I did a lot of research, looking at the designs, looking at the size requirements, and looking at the weight of the bag. And this bag fit every single criteria I needed to a T. So this is, to me, the absolute pinnacle of an ideal carry-on bag that you would want. So now we're going to dive into the interior of the bag and what about the interior of this bag makes it such a great carry-on bag. So we'll talk about the front flap first. So the back of this front flap, if you look here, is lined with a very, very soft texture pigskin lining. You can see where they sewed on the front strap. And you can see the rivets that have coming through for the belt holders along the front. And then you can see the stitching that comes through for the top handle here. So there's no rivet holding the top handle down, there's just stitching. There's also no additional piece of leather or strip holding this across, which does mean that, similar to the Texpo bag, this does run the risk of being collapsible and falling apart. To me, that is a compromise I'm willing to make for a lighter bag. A lot of the things designed in this bag have contributed to this bag being relatively light. And I really, really like it. The lightness of this bag is what makes it such a great carry-on bag. So you have this great black pigskin lining, which is great for a carry-on bag because if you know anything about going through the airport, sometimes you're grabbing food, you're grabbing drinks, you're throwing things in and out of your bag. Things are going to get dirty. Things are going to get kind of nasty. You're going to spill things in your bag. And as much as I love the velvety kind of soft pigskin lining and the light pigskin lining that Saddleback uses, I hate the fact that I have to be so careful to keep from staining that lining because it's so frustrating when you get it a little bit dirty because your hands are dirty and suddenly you're like, oh no, now for the rest of the years that I own this bag, I'm always going to see that one black mark because I didn't appropriately clean my hands after I ate a meal and I got a little bit of sauce on the inside of the bag as I was reaching for something. The interior. Single gusset with two pockets. These pockets are leather. They don't take up a lot of the potential negative space. They're there for you to put in your things that are kind of loose that you don't want sitting around. But the rest of this is just a single gusset interior. I absolutely love this as a carry-on bag because it allows me to fill this bag however I see fit. I find it frustrating as a carry-on bag to use bags that are too far organized on the interior because almost always when you're using your personal item, you have your own way you want to organize things. And the last thing you want to do is sacrifice interior space for dividers that go in pockets that are unnecessary or large pockets that you can't utilize. This is large enough that I can throw my laptop in, my personal items, all my chargers, a set of clothes, kind of organize it the way I organize it, piling it from the bottom to the top with the least likely to be used and most likely to be used at the top. And I strap it over and I'm done. I don't have to worry about working around the limitation of a designer who decided to add a gusset, add a pocket in a specific place, add pen holders, and be like, I'm not utilizing this and it's taking up space, and why is it taking up space? Also, the other thing I love about it is there's an absolute limit to how much I can fill this bag. This gusset is 5.5 inches across, which actually allows you the perfect size. I have not found an airline seat that this cannot fit under. So if I stuff this bag to the absolute limit and get the full 5.5 inches out of it, I know I can still get it to fit. In all my other briefcases, I have to be so careful because if I stuff the bag completely full, it doesn't fit. And then I have to put it in the overhead area. And then I'm putting a bag in the overhead area with things that I was going to use during a flight to do work, to listen to music, to grab a snack, whatever it is. I suddenly have to get out of my seat, open up the compartment, get the bag out, put the bag back in, get back in my seat. If I'm not sitting in the aisle seat, then I'm bothering all the other people sitting with me. This bag, I never have to worry about making it too full because even if I filled up to its absolute maximum, it still fits under the seat in front of me, which is exactly why I chose these bags. The dimensions, the design, everything about this interior I absolutely love about this bag. You know, it allows you to utilize the space the way you want to utilize the space, which is exactly what you want for a carry-on bag as you're traveling, or any other travel bag that you keep in your car. You don't want something that has a lot of folders and organization. That's great for a work bag when you need easily accessible pockets, and you're going to want, you know, a separate pocket for your iPad and a separate pocket for your computer and a separate pocket for your files and areas, you know, for your business cards and pens and everything else that you carry every day. Well, when you're traveling, depending on what you're doing, business or pleasure, you may bring your iPad, you may bring your laptop, or you may not bring either. And suddenly, if all you have is a pocket that's dedicated for a computer or an iPad and you don't use it, you start to get frustrated because there's the space here that you want to put something in, but nothing you have quite fits. So then you're playing this Tetris game trying to find the perfect piece to fit there and find out what can I get to fit in there so I can maximize the space. Well, with a single opening, you don't ever have to worry about that. So this is the second part of my 3-part video review of the Copper River 15-inch Lincoln briefcase.